Hello! Today's video is all about the triplet strum. This is a fantastic ukulele technique that can add a lot of different variations to your strumming ability, and it's really fun to work on in practice routines. Now, I also did a triplet thing on fingerpicking, which is linked right over here. These two work really well together, so I highly suggest you check out both videos. But let's go ahead and dive into triplet strumming. We're going to be learning the technique and 3 different etudes to make your triplets quite cool with that Spanish-inspired sound. Let's go ahead and dive into the technique. I'm going to move my camera super far down here. So what we're going to be doing is a triplet strum. Now, normally when we strum, we like to use our index finger, go right across where the fretboard is right here on my down and my ups. If you've never worked on strumming this way before, there's another video linked on how to strum, but I'm going to assume that you're comfortable with this type of strumming before I move on. Now, to do the triplet, it's actually quite complex in the sense of what normally is 2, a down and an up, is now going to be 3, and it makes it very difficult to sort of internalize at first if you haven't worked on it before. What we're going to do is play all open. You notice I'm not going to fret anything. I'm going to practice just these motions. The first motion is my index finger doing a down strum, but there's a little bit of a difference. A normal down strum looks like this. This down strum is going to look like this. So what's the difference? It's all about this thumb. You'll notice that my thumb is actually going to come up here on the side of the ukulele and remain up as my index finger strums down. So we can think of this almost as like a half down strum. We are completely striking all 4 strings with the index finger, but the hand is remaining in a kind of split position. So that's our first strum. The second strum is going to be the thumb now going through all 4 strings for a down strum. And as I do this, I want these 2 fingers to kind of meet together, similar to like if you were holding a pick or maybe somebody's handing you a business card. See how it's just the thumb offset with the index finger ever so lightly, and they're just touching each other very lightly. It's not trying to pinch real hard, just touching each other like that. So we have 1, 2. And then my third motion is going to be using the nail of the thumb to come up on my strum. This is the hardest part for most people because it's really awkward, but there's a few different tips that can help. The first tip is the position. You'll notice that I'm not coming straight up with the thumb. I'm moving the thumb a little bit down and coming up a little bit more perpendicular to the strings. This can help get this cool bright sound. But the bigger deal here is that it actually creates this little bit of a circular movement with your triplet strum. That's the trick to getting it really comfortable in time, is instead of strumming straight down and up like this, you're going to be strumming in a circle of sorts, where my down strum with the index is right over here where the fretboard meets the body. My down strum with my thumb is there, but then it kind of comes down in towards the sound hole as the fingers meet. And then I twist my finger a little bit so it comes more straight up and down as I strike on that third. So go ahead and try practicing this with me. I'm going to just keep rolling it. And what we want to make sure we're getting is a comfortable triplet. What that means is that every strum into each other is the same in time, including the starting back over of the strum. What that means is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Notice how I'm not going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, creating a pause between the up back into the down. We want it to be very easy and seamless with the sound. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Index, thumb, thumb, index, thumb, thumb. Now, if this is challenging for you, you're not alone. It was very challenging for me at first when I was learning it. Just sit and practice these motions and get comfortable with them. Because everything else from here out is just using this technique with different left hand fretting to add some variation to it with that sort of Spanish-inspired sound. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and we're going to learn the first etude here, the first triplet strumming etude, which is going to be pretty simple. We're going to play an A chord. Now, I actually want you to play this A chord differently than you might normally. I want you to use your middle and ring fingers, as weird as that sounds. Put the ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and the middle finger here on the 1st fret of the C string. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 sets of a triplet strum on this. So that's going to look and sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And what I like to do for counting this to help with the strumming is I like to count the first number, that number 1, as the number that is a beat. So in this case, we have 4 sets of triplets. So I'm going to count it as 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. It sounds very confusing, but all that it is the first strum I'm going to count as the number that it is within the bar. So that looks and sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3. Pretty straightforward, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this beautiful B flat major 7 chord by taking my ring and middle finger, sliding them up 1 fret, so it's at 3 and 2. And then I'm going to add the index finger here to the 1st fret of the E string. I'm going to do the same set of 4 triplet strums. So that is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And then what you'll notice is it repeats here. So we actually just go back between our A chord and our B flat major 7, and then again A chord, and then B flat major 7. And when you play this all the way through, it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. You know, it's the first time by just saying the 1, 2, 3 each time, it's easy to get lost. And that's why I like to count out the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 to help keep track of time. But that is the first etude. This sounds really cool. If you stop the video here and only walk away with this etude, this is one of my favorite things to play on the ukulele. And it sounds like this when you play it nice and fast. You notice the hand is moving in that circular movement with the triplets to help keep track of time. You can speed it up as you get comfortable. It's a super fun one. Let's go ahead and take a look at now the second triplet strumming etude. And if you worked on the picking part, this will be familiar because it's actually the exact same left hand parts. It's just adding triplet strumming to it. So if you haven't checked that out, the link's over here. The same fingerings are going to be used, which is kind of neat. And conversely, after you learn this, you can go to that fingerpicking version and you'll have a head start with the fretting hand. So the first chord here is a G minor add 9, absolutely beautiful chord, 3, 2, 3, 0. To play this, the middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, index finger on the 2nd fret of the C string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. You'll notice on a high G like mine, sounds like this. If you're playing a low G, it sounds quite different and it sounds awesome. The great thing about this lesson and exercise is this is completely cross-compatible between high G and low G. It sounds very different. So I actually suggest if you have a low G or a high G, and you're playing the other type right now, try it out both ways to see what you like more. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 3 sets of triplet strums. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. And then to finish this, I'm just going to do a down strum and let that ring for a moment. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. This cool sound, right? Going on to the next measure here, I'm going to play this C13. Sounds complicated. All that I do is take the index finger off the C string and everything stays exactly as it is. 3, 0, 3, 0. I'm going to do the exact same strum pattern. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. And if I combine these two measures so that you can hear the two together, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Going on to the next pair of measures, we have a D7. Just take these two fingers and slide them down 1 fret. That's all there is to it. 2, 0, 2, 0. I'm going to do the same exact pattern. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. And then I'm going to go on to measure 18 here, where things get just a little bit different. I'm going to play this A7 sus4, which is going to be the middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the C string. I'm going to do 2 triplets on this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do 2 triplets on this A7, taking the index finger, placing on the 1st fret of the C string, and taking the middle finger off. 2 sets of triplets. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So that's a small change. Up to this point, we've been doing that down strum at the end of some of these bars. This one keeps the triplet party going. And so this is what measures 17 and 18 sound like together. It should be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And here's what the entire second strumming etude sounds like with all of these beautiful chords, and the strumming sounds like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Pretty cool, right? And again, this is the same stuff that we learned with our fingerpicking etude. So if you haven't checked out that video, be sure to layer these two together. But let's go ahead and go on to the triplet strumming etude number 3. This one's a little bit more challenging because the chords switch a little bit more quickly. We're going to start with an F add 9 chord. We're going to take our index finger, place it here on the 1st fret of the E string. We're going to do 2 sets of triplets on this chord. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Now we're going to keep triplets going. You'll notice it just rolls with the triplets, so the strumming is the same as we go through, but we're going to switch now to a B flat major 7 chord. Middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, ring finger to the 3rd fret of the G string, and the middle finger to the 2nd fret of the C string with our index finger staying there on 1. We're going to do 2 sets of triplets here. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Pretty straightforward. Then we go on measure 20. We're going to not move anything in terms of fingers off the fretboard. We're just going to move them in terms of sliding, move up 2 frets. So you slide from 3, 2, 1, 0 to 5, 4, 3, 0 for the C6 chord. Ring finger on G, middle finger on E, or C, excuse me, and the index finger there on the E. And we're going to do 2 sets of triplets here. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And then we're going to slide it back down to the B flat major 7 where we just were, the 3, 2, 1, 0. Same deal here, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2 sets of triplets. So when you play this whole stanza together, measures 19 and 20, it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Going into the next set here, we go in measure 21, we go that A chord. Remember how we played it at the beginning of the video? Same deal here. We're going to just move our fingers down so our ring and middle fingers are playing the A chord. We're going to do 2 sets of triplets. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Then we're going to go to this wonderful B flat major 7 flat 5. Sounds complex. All that we do is take these 2 fingers and move them up 1 fret. And in the past, we added this index finger here for the B flat major 7. Well, what makes it a flat 5 is we flat the 5, lowering it by 1. So we have 3, 2, 0, 0. And we're going to do 2 sets of triplets. And then we go on to measure 22. We're going to slide it up 2 frets again and add the index on the 3rd fret of the E string for that C6. We're going to do 3 sets of triplets now on this C6. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. And for the very last strum of it, we're going to play this A7, probably one you haven't played before. We're going to take this ring finger, slide it up to fret 6 on the G string, and then you're going to take your pinky and add it on the 7th fret of the C string. So we have 6, 7, 0, 0. And we're going to do a downstroke on that. And that finishes that. So measures 21 and 22 sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1. Oh, what did I do wrong? I played an A chord the normal way, right? And the reason why I want you to play it this way is exactly the reason I'm showing you here. If I try to do it this way, and I'll get finger tangled, but if I do it this way, I'm going to be ready to go with these changes. So let's try that again without me making that mistake. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And so that you can hear it, here's the whole triplet strumming etude number 3. It's going to be measures 19 all the way through 22. Again, if you want to download a tab of this, the whole thing, including the fingerpicking etudes as well, is available on my Patreon page. But more about that in a moment. Here's what triplet strumming etude number 3 sounds like. It should be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And what's so great about this is you can use these etudes in any order. You can start with 1, go to 2, go to 3, repeat them. You can jump around, do all sorts of different things. And if you learn those finger-picking triplet etudes as well, the 3 of those, this creates a really rich practice opportunity to go between them and add some creativity. So you can hear it. I'm going to play a little bit of the triplet strumming etudes, and then I'm going to go into some finger-picking triplet etudes and back into the strumming, just so you can hear how you can combine them all. Might sound something like this. Pretty cool, right? Bringing the camera back up. This is a fantastic way to introduce triplets into your practice. The triplet strum is a very ukulele technique. You'll hear the best players in the world do it really fast to create this really cool sound. And so this is a great resource to introduce this technique into your practice with this really fun Spanish-inspired melody. It's a lot of fun to play, and I have a lot of fun still working on it to this day. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I want to take a moment to thank all of my patrons over at Patreon. This was actually voted on for this month's tutorial. Each month I take suggestions from patrons and then create a song vote, lesson vote based on what they want to learn. So this won this month, and I couldn't be more excited to be working it on all with you. If you'd like to download the tab that has all 6 of these etudes, the 3 strumming and the 3 fingerpicking, check that out, link below. Otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you next time on the next lesson. Thanks so much. Take it easy.